What is the single most important thing for a whistleblower to do? The single most important thing for a whistleblower to do, the one thing that can make all the difference between success and disaster, is to talk to someone who knows what they're doing, preferably a whistleblower law firm. I say this with absolute certainty because I've been on both sides. When I was with the FBI, I ran and participated in undercover activities, so I know how it feels in a way to blow the whistle. Back in the FBI's glory days, we spent our time catching bad guys. Let me tell you something. The FBI has a distinct advantage over the criminal. Why? Because there's no school for bad guys. They don't take classes on how to get away with fraud. They only have one time to do the crime. They repeat it thinking they perfected it, but the crime is just a snapshot in time. Meanwhile, we had all the time in the world to recreate it, to put the puzzle together and to catch them. But you know what the bad guys do? They have power, they have money, they have influence, and most importantly, they have one thing they're betting on, that you don't know what you're doing. They count on you second-guessing yourself. They count on you feeling isolated, scared, uncertain who to trust, thinking everybody's in on it. They hope the weight of the situation will paralyze you into silence. Maybe they're using your relationship with them, friendship, loyalty, to keep you quiet, perhaps threats. Maybe they're telling you, oh, this is just how business is done. Or, hey, if you say something, you know you risk your job. No one's going to believe you. Or maybe they keep sending Vinny and Frankie by your desk just to make sure you get the message, if you know what I'm saying. That's where talking to a whistleblower lawyer changes everything. Because the truth is, you are not alone. You may be carrying a cross that you don't have to bear. There are things you need to know. And speaking with someone who's been through it time and time again is the gateway to helping yourself out, helping others, and setting things right. Let me tell you about a case. Someone will call Rudiker, or Rudy for short. Now, for argument's sake, let's say this account is completely fictional, even if it is grounded in a little bit amalgamation of successful cases with nuggets of reality. Our friend Rudy worked at a pharmaceutical company. He noticed some very strange thing. His company was paying doctors off the books to promote a drug. The company was falsely promoting its benefits that were unproven, and the FDA specifically rejected their sales literature for that. He was also instructed to promote the product for an off-label usage from a scientific study of questionable merit. First he thought, hey, maybe this is a mistake. Maybe I'm just imagining this. But then he saw the internal emails, conversations between executives saying sales are booming and it's thanks to Operation Double Donut. This fictional sounding term was their code name to keep a scheme to keep physicians like a donut powdered with cash while promoting a product they knew had serious holes in its claims. Rudy wrestled what to do with this. He had a good job, a steady paycheck, a family. He knew if he spoke up, he could risk it all. But he did something critical. He talked to a whistleblower attorney. He learned that under the False Claims Act, he had protection. That if he came forward the right way, he could not only expose the fraud, but potentially be financially handsomely rewarded for doing the right thing. He also learned that if he spoke up the wrong way, like going straight to his boss, he probably would have been fired, blamed for the whole thing, and legal recourse may have been shut like a door. He blew the whistle the right way, and his case led to a massive recovery for the government under the False Claims Act. But more importantly, he protected patients. He made sure people weren't taking a medication based on some sort of kickback scheme, faulty studies, or for a purpose that was specifically disapproved by the FDA. Now let me flip the script a little. Let's say Rudy never talked to a lawyer. Let's say he thought what he's seeing is fraud. Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. Maybe it's just bad practices, not illegal. If he had gone public without legal guidance, he would have risked everything for nothing. And that's something you want to know ahead of time, right? Because here's another truth. Not every case is a case. Not everything that's unethical is illegal. Some people come to us convinced they have the next big whistleblower case that's worth billions. And after we review the details, we have to tell them, sorry, we don't think there's a whistle to blow here. Yeah, that may be like Tom Brady deflating news. But isn't it better to know before you risk everything, only to realize you have no legal protections or recourse? The bad guys have power. You should too. You should have someone in your corner who can tell you the upsides, tell you the downsides, and help you make a right, informed decision. Certain laws like the False Claims Act give you protections and financial incentives to do the right thing. Other programs, like the SEC Whistleblower program, even allow you to report the fraud anonymously through the use of an SEC whistleblower lawyer. So you don't have to put your neck on the line at all with your name on the complaint. But here's the key. None of these protections matter if you don't use them correctly. The worst thing a whistleblower can do is act impulsively. Go to HR, talk to the wrong person, or expose themselves before they know their rights. The best thing they can do, become informed. Speak with a top whistleblower law firm before it's too late. So if you're sitting there right now struggling with what to do, feeling that weight on your shoulders, don't let fear or uncertainty stop you. Talk to someone who knows what they're doing. Because the single most important thing for a whistleblower to do is receive the right help before it's too late. Our firm, Brown LLC, has a proud tradition of protecting and advocating for whistleblowers. With former Department of Justice alumni, hundreds of millions in recoveries, and the 2024 Whistleblower Case of the Year, $950 million in aggregate, we are committed to fighting fraud and standing up for those who expose it. Plus, we offer free consultations to whistleblowers. You got to take that avenue when it's available. Even if you don't choose our key TM law firm, don't go at it alone. Speak with one of the best whistleblower law firms. It's the single most important step you can take to protect yourself and determine the best path forward. Without speaking to a whistleblower law firm, a lot of people wind up getting themselves in trouble that they can't get themselves out of. How? Well, the first thing is, most people's instinct is, I want to gather evidence. But you're only able to gather evidence lawfully and ethically. And if the company finds you probing around, you may get fired, or worse, if you're accessing information you don't have a lawful right to access, you may get criminally charged. And that's another key reason to speak with a whistleblower law firm who can inform you about your rights, about how to gather evidence the right way. Many people think going to HR may be the right route. Your HR rep may be very friendly and nice. But let me tell you something. From our experience, going to HR typically is a one-way street to getting fired. The company, as much as it may profess it wants to hear what's going on, really doesn't. They look for people to blame. And let's say this scam or scheme was going on for years. They're going to ask you, well, why did you report it now? Why did you wait a year or two? And they'll say, the fact that you didn't report it promptly means that you have to be terminated. The fact that you participated in the scheme means that you have to be terminated. The fact that you had some emails at the beginning of the scheme means you're the originator for it, and we're going to blame you. All this stuff is some pretty bad news, which is why you should speak with an outside whistleblower lawyer. The company has lawyers on its side. You need lawyers on your side. And that's one profound question to ask them. If they're interviewing you and you made the wrong decision, you went forward by yourself without speaking with a whistleblower law firm, ask them when you're speaking to HR, when you're speaking to the company attorney, where does your loyalty lie? Are you loyal to me or are you loyal to the company? And they're going to tell you every time they're loyal to the company. That means you're just a pawn. If you retain a whistleblower law firm, that firm's loyalty is to you, to protect you, to get you the best result. So you need somebody like that in your corner.